Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Verily our own self. So, આપણે આપણો એનર્જી પાવરનો ભંડાર આપણા બોડીમાં છે. Sorry, I have to speak in Hindi, sorry.
No, you can speak in English or Hindi
Yeah.
or Gujarati.
No.
No Gujarati.
Whatever the source of power that is within us, the infinite source of power, of which we are not that aware, yet the power functions. Power functions. But we live in our lives by whatever limited power that we have acquired as a human being. Life goes on with that power. But for that power to get well enhanced and make us more powerful positively to live our lives, we recite our perpetual 3 mantras which are beyond time. For all the times they are there. 3 mantras, basically, which Dada Bhagwan brought to the attention of the whole of India. And for those who are intellectual enough to understand the very basic core meaning of all these 3 mantras, for them too. What do you say, Anuj? So let us recite our own power source for 3 mantras. Namo Vitragai.
Namo Vitragai.
That is the goal. That is the goal for us. And now 3 mantras. Namo Aryantaram.
Namo Aryantaram.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Namo Aryantaram.
Namo Aryantaram.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Namo Aryantaram.
Namo Aryantaram.
Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Aryantaram.
Namo Aryantaram.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Sabba Saunam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Namo Arihantaram.
Namo Aryantaram.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Namo Loe Sabba Saunam.
Eso Panch Namukaro.
Eso Panchakanamukaro.
Sarva Pavappana Sanu.
Sarva Pavappana Sanu.
Mangalanam Cha Sabe Sim.
Mangalanam Cha Sabe Sim.
Vai Mangalam.
Parmavai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namah Shivaya.
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 Jai Satchidanand.
Jai
That
Satchidanand.
is the result of the powers that are contained in these 3 mantras for all of us, all our Bharatiyas, our Indians, who are living as per our Sanatan traditions and our Aryan culture, which means the culture of inner living in this outside world living. You see, outside world living should not make us astray out of our path of our Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is the universal Dharma for the whole of the India and Bharat, based on these three mantras, according to the stage of development. All the three are there. All the three mantras, those who worship them, follow them every way, and their mentors, they are leading to the Jai Satchidanand state of living our own life, by our own self in this very life. So Dada Bhagwan was not owner of these three mantras, no. But he was instrumental in bringing out the core source of power, that is united power of human bodies, that is by unity of mind, mind attuned speech, and speech attuned behavior. But today, mind is totally non-centered, peripheral. What is speech then? Totally dissociated from mind, which is peripheral. So what can be the speech? Sometimes we say, you get lost. But we have made ourselves got lost in speech. This is what I understand. What I was before I made master. And what is the behavior in that case? Oh, being human beings, inhuman behavior, they live.
Yes, sir.
What sort? Being a Bharatiya? Core. So basically, these three mantras today in this adverse times Kali Yuga are a great gift to the mankind for the whole of the Bharat, and those who desire to understand these three mantras and the powers contained in them. Intellectuals, but ordinaries also can understand. But the science behind them needs to be brought out in a way that it belongs to all. You follow? Shall we understand the mantras?
No.
Sir? Or no?
No, not the first one. Interpretation.
No, the second. Shall we understand?
First one.
Yes.
Shall we
First-
try?
Yes.
So can I begin on that?
Yeah.
With your permission?
Sure.
Without permission, how can we do anything?
You are the
Permission. If somebody makes me speak, I speak. Why should I bubble? But this is satsang, you see. Satsang, where we are all here, gathered here, for the cause of Sat. To understand Sat, that is perpetual in nature. Sorry.
તમારે નહીં. No, અહીંયા જ થશે.
Wait, you should have, yeah, like that. Now it will come, right? Right, doctor, you should position your instrument well.
Right.
Okay. Very much. So, let us understand these three mantras, all of us. You can come in the front, those two. No, there is no chair, okay.
Chair.
You can come. There is. Come here. Come, both of you. You can sit here, one chair is there. Oh, no, is it reserved? Okay.
Ron,
Okay.
Ron, come over here.
Come here, yes. Oh,
Right here. Here, Ron. અહીંયા બેસ જા.
Don would like to sit there. He's with Loki. So let us understand three mantras. Namo Vidyai is the goal for all of us all Sanatan Dharmists. Sanatan Dharmists are not Arya Samajists, mind you. It belongs to every Indian. Sanatan means dharma, that is the way of life and living, that is given to every individual, that is of perpetual nature, that is called dharma. Because it will let us well sustained in a balanced way in our living, in these unbalancing forces of dual forces of life. Or no? That is dharma after all. And it belongs to human beings. Right? Only human beings. Why? The human beings have got evolved to higher form. Higher form. This flora, fauna, creatures, they do not need dharma. They are already living as per dharma. But only human beings do not live. That is the trouble. Don, what do you say? What do you say? Only human beings. Not to belittle human beings. No. But this is the situation we see today. That is the reason of all clashes, conflicts, wars and all. So we can see that. You see? Within and without, every way. Within individually in everybody, and without in our own home, sweet home also, and therefore in the world also. So, Namo Vitraga, that when we recite that is our ultimate goal, that in this life we should understand and try our best to live our life and living in this life, forces of present relative living. You see, from within, we should try our best. So, Vitraga, with means without. Rag, you understand, Rag is not a uniliteral word, it is a dual word. But the opposite of it, Dvesh, is implied in that. You follow? Because it is a final goal. But in these times, in this Kali-yuga, Dada Bhagwan brought wonderful revelation about this Vitrag word. That today, it is for this times, Kali-yuga, we have to say Namo Vidveshaya. Because present times are times of dvesha, aversions, aversive forces. Of Kalinato. No, you can set it. Saroj, you can set it properly. Now it won't work, no? It record કર્યું છે તો હવે અવાજ નહીં કરે અવાજ તો મૂકી દો મૂકું ને રેકોર્ડ if you want હવે ઓકે છે ને if you know
દાદા સત્સંગ સાંભળે છે ને તે સત્સંગ ત્યાં ડિસ્કનેક્ટ એટલે પાછો ડાયલ કરો જેને સત્સંગ સાંભળે છે ને
જે લોકો
એટલે ત્યાં
the internet connected internet this goes over all over the world all the states yes they are viewing the way we are here the element that we made here yes that is right so actual real word is Namo Vitraga. So now we go on mantras. In first mantra is 5 bowings. We bow to highest forms of emancipated life and living of human beings. 5 of them. 4 of them and 1 totally liberated state. So first we take Namo Arihantanam. I bow to Arihant, that is living absolute, lion absolute. Now word absolute in the present day of material science is not acceptable to scientists nor anybody on the western part of the world and also everywhere, except India of course. In India, in Hindu belief, it is understood as Sarvagnas. Sarvagna you follow. for those for whom there nothing remains, anything of any source in the world and the universe that needs to be known, that needs to be known, and that needs to be seen. Unless the knowledge you want to have is not viewable by you. Do you follow? No. Unless you see, you cannot learn. And very learning is the knowledge. In relative terms, in common parlance, it is brought down like that. Even children also are taught like that. As you see, so you learn. Simple, you see. But all these simple things for human beings, because human beings and God connection is so near and so close, closest close, that for them, in their language also, all God existence aspects are reflected. I understand that way. What do you say, sir? Right? They are reflected. You see? God is not given to duality. God is not given to duality. That is how we say Arihant. Arihant means free of all the dualities of life and living. All. Every way and all through. Do you understand? Every modification way and all through. Through and through. That is called Sarvagna. And in Jain following, it is called Vidrag. Both. And Vidrag Shabda, Krishna Bhagavan has referred to it in Gita Ji. Those who are familiar with Gita Ji may be knowing, but I can tell you that it is there. So Vidrag Shabda is in all the three mantras common. So Namo Arihantanam is the highest state of a human being all over the world, singular, unilateral, and that too on the soil of Bharat, that is what we call South Asia. Particularly the region, South Asia is all combined, but in past, all were together one. I think you may be knowing history. You may be knowing all were together, you see. Bangla, Pakistan, even Rangoon, Burma, everything.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, Afghan, some part. To that it was called Aryabharat. Aryabharat. The influence of Aryan way of living that was there prevalent nearest to all around. And that was, others also were influenced by this sort of thing, through the trades and through interactions. I have not learned history, but my vision sees all these things. And I don't know how that vision works, but I do see everything. I don't need books or scriptures, anything to understand either Quran or New 10 Testaments or 4 Vedas or Jainas, all scriptures. I can, it is not my claim, but it has happened. What can I do in that? No. But credit goes to my master. Again, unless there is a master, mentor, you cannot be well positioned on the correct path. That is how it is. So, out of all of us, 5 mantras will take. They are offering me some. Can I, with your permission, have this thing? Yes. And in the meantime, we must have some fun. ये विश्व में शांति हो. कौन बोलेंगे? साथ बोलेंगे. स्वामी जी आ गए. स्वामी जी. Gold medalist of BJTI, electrical and blue-eyed boy of Larsen and Toubro. And now he has devoted his life like this to meet everywhere in all corners of the world. Of course, first Bharat and then world. To share his own experiences. That a dear master. And he said in his young days, Dada, I want to be single. Oh, lies after lies. Now I am tired. I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired now. Okay. So Dada, what did Dada say?
That is your weakness.
He
He said that that's all weakness. I said, Dadaji, this is what I feel. But if I get into it, then probably I'll face that as a challenge. So he said, never mind. What's your name? Then all it started.
अबे ये विश्व में शांति हो आप जरा हमें शांति का मंत्र बुलाइए।
ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो। ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो। ऐसी करुणा कर देना। ऐसी करुणा कर देना। दिल भीतर के सब तिमिर हरो। दिल भीतर के सब तिमिर हरो। तारण तारण परमात्मा। तारण तारण परमात्मा। ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो। ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो। ज्ञानांजन है प्रगट पुरुष। ज्ञानांजन है प्रगट पुरुष। सिद्धेश्वर शिल्पी सन्मुख। सिद्धेश्वर शिल्पी सन्मुख। सब जीव को आत्म प्राप्ति जो। सब जीव को आत्म प्राप्ति जो। निरावरणी व्यक्तात्मा। निरावरणी व्यक्तात्मा। ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो। ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो। एक स्वभाव है प्रकाश का। एक स्वभाव है प्रकाश का। चाहे किसी भी दीप में हो। चाहे किसी भी दीप में हो। पश्चिम पूरब सूरज हो। पश्चिम पूरब सूरज हो। निष्पक्षी है किरणात्मा। निष्पक्षी है किरणात्मा।
The ray of sun has neither east or north, west side types. Human beings have that. There is a Kiranatma. It may be rising sun or setting sun. Okay, maybe
पश्चिम पूरब सूरज हो। पश्चिम पूरब सूरज हो। निष्पक्षी है किरणात्मा। निष्पक्षी है किरणात्मा। ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो। ये विश्व
और शांति हो।
निसंशय ओम महेश्वरा,
निसंशय ओम महेश्वरा,
प्रफुल्लित स्वानंद उदयकरा,
प्रफुल्लित स्वानंद उदयकरा,
शुद्ध अंतस्थल की जगमग ज्योत,
अंतःस्थल की जगमग ज्योत,
केवल ज्ञान में स्थिर करना,
केवल ज्ञान में स्थिर करना,
ये विश्व में सुख और शांति हो।
विश्व में सुख और शांति हो।
भव भय भंजक मूल शरण,
भय भंजक मूल शरण,
आप से कटते जन्म मरण,
आपसे कटते जन्म मरण,
भव भय भंजक मूल शरण,
भय भंजक मूल शरण,
आप से कटते जन्म मरण,
आपसे कटते जन्म मरण,
जब आयु अंतिम आ जाए,
जब आयु अंतिम आ जाए,
त्वं सुचरणों में ले लेना,
तब सुचरणों में
Jai Satchidananda. So Namo Arihantanam, that is the one who is unilaterally free of all the attractions and aversions of various innumerable types of living. I go to such a one. Namo Arihantanam. Ari means enemies. And enemies normally in the world are understood to be out of us. Out of us. Because we are accustomed to such a living. Though somebody has done bad to me, this, out of us. Actual fact is this, that enemies refer to a human being's inner enemies, not outer. That is the basic meaning behind this bowing. First bowing, who is free of all the enemies, from within and without, every way. Unless you are free of enemies from within, you cannot lead to that state and enhancement wherein you are free of enemies without, in that sarvagna state, that is absolute state. And every human being is competent enough to get to this stage. But at every individual's time, at every individual's time, that is more important. Right? So that is first going, most important. Now second, Namo Siddhanam. Right? Namo Siddhanam means those in the final human life, wherein that life leads to total enhancement, to absolute knowledge, absolute vision, absolute powers opened out, and absolute bliss, all together, unilaterally functioning within the body, with the body, and in the inside, a state like that, and body functions as body. For the balance part of the life, that is for that period is there, body lives out, and inside they are there. So that is there in the cage, body cage. So once body cage finally, when that lifespan is over, when the cage is gone, then you sit is totally liberated. That is the goal of each and every one of us. Very so. So unless we are initiated into this, goal can never be there. Without a beginning, there cannot be the result, end result. I think this is universal understanding for everybody, and it is very easy to understand. Anything that is beginning will result. Which has no beginning has no. And that is how without beginning the life goes on lived out. So that initiation of that total liberation needs to take place. But how do we do? So by self-effort it is impossible in these times. In right times it was a path. But this time that path is broken because of the disunity between the mind, speech and body, living aspects of a human being. Total disunity, all disunited. Everybody wants to live a right life, but one cannot. There is experience. Neither I can tell anybody, nor bear from within. So I have to keep my face smiling all the time, not to let anybody know that, oh, I am disturbed within. Is it true? What to do? That is the life today. So, no more Siddhanta. You may ask that how such a totally liberated state is put second and the first one is put that no Arihantaram. Because Arihantaram means the living master with the presence of body. That is how, and unless the body is present of that Siddha state here, how one can get liberated? That is the mentor is required. But those mentors are only time certain only things. And in their place, third going, Namo Ayariyanam. Which one? Ayariyanam. That means Acharya. Acharya, who has digested the basic 5 principles of living life that leads to the state of Sarvagna. 5 basic principles. Total, absolute non-violence by mind, speech and body, by being from within, lived out, as well as from without, living out everywhere with all living entities. That is how, before Arihants, a goat and a tiger, a mongoose and a cobra, they are together, they forget their enmity, total. Who are born enemies, they forget already. They are in the presence only. The moment presence is there, then it returns to that, all these things. It happens about a certain big area where the presence of absolute is there. Such are the powers, latent powers of a human being that we all have. It needs to get opened out. You see, Namo Ayariyanam is responsible for such powers to let it get opened out as mentors. You can follow? And fourth is Namo Uvasayanam. That means with the grace of Acharya, Ayariyanam. It's a Prakrit language, you see. It was spoken at the time of Lord Buddha and Mahavira, that this language is there. It is called Ardhamagdi, actually it was called Ardhamagdi. In Magadh Desh, that means Bihar, whatever Patna region, that the language spoken in the city was Sanskrit. But what was spoken in villages was, they were not able to pronounce those Sanskrit words properly. So those Sanskrit was properly in a rustic language. That is how it came Ardhamagdi. Not fully Magdi means culture. This is like that, rustic what they call village language, like that. So Namo Ayariyanam Acharya, Namo Uvasaya means Upadhyaya. Upadhyaya. Upadhyaya are spiritual teachers for the human mankind. Learned to teach the common folk the basic principles of their mentor that they are getting on to get imbibed by them. They are in the process and they make others understand them how to get into this and progress further. Namo Uvazaya, Upadhyaya. Upadhyaya, you know. Upadhyaya teachers, spiritual teachers. Aryantaram, Aryan, I would say, vice chancellors. Upadhyayas are head of departments. Like him. You see? And no loya sabbasaunam. Loya means in the whole universe, Madhyalok, human world. Sabba means all. Saunam means sadhu purush. Sadhu purush means those who are living with straight attitudes. Straight attitudes. No curvature anywhere of any sort, at heart. Lord, she is laughing at me. Straight, and they are simple, but not simpleton. Those who get cheated out are not simpletons. What do you say, sir? They are simple people. And people like them. They like them to have their prey. In this time particularly. You see? Namo Uvazaya. Uvazaya. Namo Luesabasaunam. So, one need not renounce relations. One need not renounce wife, children, relations, business, nothing. You see? One needs to be straightened out from within. In attitudinal state. Which state? Attitudinal state of living. One needs to get straightened out by efforts and come to as much simplicity as possible from within, not without. Because without what is there and you have to live in the world. You are given a drama part. You have to let your part play out. On the field of, on the war front, you will say, oh sir, I can't kill my own relative. I did nothing. It won't do that. It won't do, mind you. A drama is a drama, pure drama. A drama is a drama only when there is no cheating there, but just acting dramatically. That is living out dramatically. This I understand, sir. This body has taught me with the grace of Master. Body has taught me. You see? So there is 5 goings. All these 5 goings are instrumental. It will all the negativities of our lives to get annulled out, evened out, removed. Negativities and positivities of life getting on, opening out. That is the Sarva Pavat Parasana. Mangalanam Chasavesi in the whole world and in the whole of India. Whatever Mangal, that means well-being type of states of all the religious beliefs and scriptures are there. This is the forefront. It is in the forefront. Mangalanam Chasavesi Mangalam. Padamam Vai Mangalam. It is number 1. Therefore, I, for my own good, so that I can be good to each and everybody, without showing any goodness to anybody. I think to be good is like that, right? or to be good by behavior. That is there, it is there. If you, by behavior, it won't be, they are there to punish us. Society is already there. But by understanding, we have to there. You see? So, Padama Bhai Mangalam. Second mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudeva means it is Narayana mantra. Namo Narayana. So, Vasudeva actually relates to Lord Krishna. Because last Narayan that happened to be there on this Mother Earth in India was Lord Krishna. I say was because Vasudeva is the name of the body in which that Narayan opened out. That is there, 5,000 plus years back. Unfortunately, our intelligentsia and everybody in scriptural knowledge, experts, Shastra, every way, even our mentors also of various types are not able to bring out Lord Krishna as a fact and factual happening that happened, unfortunately. And therefore in the world outside also, though Gita Ji is revered universally by intellectuals, everybody, but Krishna and Krishna's life and living these experiences, what are given in Mahabharata and all other things, Bhagavad and all, are considered to be mythological, unfortunately. And whatever is mythology is nothing but fictional exposition of the scriptures for the human beings to learn and understand their life, the deep meaning behind that what is there, just to learn. The way in America, human beings are made to learn through animation. You know that. But this, when I saw these two, life is like that. Olympics. So, Namo Narayan. Narayan means Nar. Nar means individuals. So, sum total of the positivity aspect of human being, which are not with the negativities, but which are opposite of the negativities, in one individual, that is gathered to be in one individual as power of everybody's positivity, such an individual who gets born, he gets born as a Narayan. Narayan. And Lord Krishna was the last Narayan that happened to be there in our nearest time, 5,000 years back. That is how Vasudeva is there. So, well-known mantra is Namo Vasudeva. And some people say Namo Narayana also, but Vasudeva. So, there is a second time we'll see details about that, Arihant, Narayana, etc., Shiva, etc. But today, these three mantras, let us go. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate means every breath of such a Narayan's life, relative life, body life, every breath is Bhagavadiya. Bhagavadiya means Sat-oriented and Sat-centered, Sat-oriented. So, you follow? Or no? Sat means permanent. The perpetual eye. Which one? Perpetual eye, not the wandering eye. That center, which perpetual eye in everybody of us is there at the body, at the core. But unfortunately it is at the heart and not in the head. Though heart is connected with the head, no doubt. So one should try to reach heart to understand Sat. Right or not? And to understand God, of course. No? If we cannot reach the heart, we have to go to cardiologist. That's what it is. So, Namo Narayana, that is the meaning of that. And the last mantra is Om Namah Shivaya. For society and social living individuals, particularly, mainly in India, to understand the one's own Shiva state of living that is there, latent within everybody, to understand that Om Namah Shivaya is the perpetual mantra. And for that to understand, because it is difficult to understand in its basic state, therefore some sign has to be put, and therefore Linga Puja has developed in India since old times, very old times. original times. You see, Ling Puja. Ling Puja is indicative of the Purush Tattva of every one of us, of every Indian. Of course, it belongs to world also, but for the world to understand it, it has to be brought out in a very good scientific terms and in the common man's language for the world also to understand. It can be brought out. Because the real meaning of Shiva is we are wishing well-being of the world constantly. Shiva is indicated, that is the topmost state of a human being where one reaches, one can reach. And that topmost state is Arihanta, Sarvagna. And below that is Acharya. So Acharya in relative times was considered to be the form of a Shiva. In our old times it was Guruji, Brihaspati, etc. and all that. Like that. But present day time, in Kali Yuga, Acharya means Gnani. Gnani. One for whom one does not read scriptures or anything else, but one out of whose experience of the life of total perpetual I. In all the phases of the life, none excluded. Not only his individual, but all put together, all the population of the world put together. And other living entities too. Such a great expanse of knowledge of a Gnani is. A Gnani is all-knowing, all-visualizing. So, in this present time, a Gnani is in that place. Shiva. Meaning of Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, means those who have entered into this phase of all the time wishing and living out for the goodness of the world, of every individual, for the goodness of the world. Without deciding anything, the breathing and living itself happens like that. Kalyan jisko bolte hain, usko. So Shiv means Kalyan Swarup. जो बिगिनिंग जो हुए हैं और जो कंप्लीट ज्ञानी है, वहाँ तक सभी को ये नमस्कार है. Shiv. But in social terms, we have to go to temple and all that. It's an indirect way of understanding. Indirect. Temples are never wrong. All over the world. All over the world. They lead us indirectly to getting to understand directly and directly achieve the results. That is there, but it takes a long time. And that too, if one is before the temple and a deity in the right manner, without any lapse, that going to temple, going to Lord Shiva or Krishna or Mahavir, leaving the chappals, shoes below. But they are new, coincidentally they are very brand new, and much light, and goes there. So along with the deity, he has got chappals or shoes in the vision. That should not happen. It can, nothing can. This is one simple example what Master gave, but it conveys great meaning, you see. So these three mantras have got great powers. They belong to the highest level of emancipated forms of lives, human lives. In India, when I say in India, I do not take side in the word, side of India, no, not at all. Because that land is there. That land, verily, that land is such a land, wherein those whose belief have ripened enough to be within them, ingrained in their life, as they get born, without doing any effort, that life after death, and death after life. the cycle of life, birth and death cycle. That belief is there. Why? Because of karma. Because of karma. There has to be a cause for this cycle. There has to be a cause. So the cause is ignorance of our own self as to who am I. And unfortunately, it so happens for all of us, in spite of being here or everywhere, it never occurs to us as to, oh, I am so and so, I am so and so. But it never occurs in my life, in spite of so many experiences, everywhere, mind-wise, speech-wise, behavioral-wise, that after all I say I am so and so, so and so, I am so and so name. But at some point of time, it did not occur to me. When Master brought out to me like that after all, who can I be when I say I am this thing? There has to be something that is there, which is always there, that I can be. That never happens. That question never happens. That who am I? It never happens. And to get that answer, we have to go, well, all the answers about that, we have to go before Him. Because He has to be one. Who has to be smallest of the small in the relative sense. What do I say?
Smallest of the small.
Smallest of the everywhere. Relative one, relative. Means relative living. If you approach Him, you will find Him very simple. And yet, He has vast powers within Him. Nobody can know that. You follow? They are Acharya, Gnani Purush. You see? Otherwise, always, some way, through some pore of the body, leakage always happens. It is not anybody's fault. It is the result of one's own karmic stock that one has brought along with one's own self, the time of birth. Parents are not responsible for that. What do you say? Parents are responsible to give us a chance to live out this life, to get out, emptied out of all this water. So we are indebted to them actually. We are greatly indebted to them. Had we not had such a chance to live, on the contrary, they bear great pains to, and more particularly mothers. Fathers have to be there to give love, kindness, and support. But see, present time also we see. So Dada Bhagwan brought this out very lucidly, in very simple language, and in the commoners lexicon. And recently, that book has been translated into English for universal benefit. That is called, what is that? A home, a heaven on earth. Home, a heaven on earth. I don't know whether this center might be having that, but Vijay Bhai, if you get copies of that, you can get one copy in every house. And even if you get more also, you can get. Because a true knowledge, that means true understanding of one's own life and living, irrespective of any of the faith or belief, irrespective, it should be all inclusive. You see, it is not subject to sale. It is subject to distributed. Not marketed sales. So such books do not hit the newsstands or you see, they do like that. So these our teachers like him, they do this job, and our elders who are running this organization. Because organization has to be run. It needs. If I am alone in this world and I am being by myself only, I don't need any organization, right? But if I am with my Guruji, then I need organization. Is it not so? New organize our home. But if I am with my friends, others, then for them also I am going to get organized. That is called society. That is why society needs organization. So, in a spiritual gathering also it is required. Basically, that is where actually people coming together is not called Sangha. Sangha means gathering, congregation. No. The people coming together of a belief that are common to all and all. That is how it comes together. You see? With their own inner opening out of that, and which is common amongst us 10, 15, 100. There. Common to all. Everybody will feel, oh, this is common to me. In spite of the differences of individual self, mind you. Because individual physical traits are definitely individuals. And unless they are there, this world won't be so nice to look at, beautiful to view. One child, 7 years old, referred the question to Dada Bhagwan at Watergate. In which area?
Anaheim.
Near Anaheim is that. And asked Dada Bhagwan, just a satsang was happening, master was there. In which year it was, somebody can tell me?
80s.
I think it was in 86 or something.
86.
So,
87.
who said? Who said?
Shantabhen.
No, ये तो Sharda can tell correctly.
87.
87, last year, Dada's last visit. His physique was very at low level, but even then, till the last breath, he totally gave out the whole thing, last breath. And that, at the age of 7, Sharda, you stand up and you'd say, please, you come here, front. The child's mother, and the child 7-year-old asked Dada, look here, sit down.
He asked Dadaji.
Are you ashamed to be before this?
No.
If there are 1,000, then you will be ashamed? Why? Okay.
At the age of 7, he asked Dadaji, why is everybody's face looks different? So then Dada answered that if your mom looked alike, then how you going to recognize your mom? And so, and then he started thinking, but he was not satisfied with the answer. He couldn't understand. So then Dada went further and said that every individual occupies a different space at a different time.
It's really wonderful. You cannot occupy the same place at the same time. It's a great subtle sentence. It requires a lot of elaboration. Any mode of our life, mind-wise, speech-wise, behavior-wise, by 5 senses, any modes are passing. One mode comes, faces, moves out. Second comes. So that mode that occupied the space will not occupy same space at the same time. It's so subtle, is that? So subtle. Our knowledge and knowing powers are so subtle.
And then
But
further
what she
Dada,
explained was because Dada was explaining to a 7-year child.
and then further he explained all the 6 eternals, how the 6 eternal functions are.
Yes. And the child appreciated it, 7-year child.
Yes. And till today he hasn't forgotten the 6 eternals.
So, can we have some further nice, okay, out of us? The Hindi. One Hindi pad can we take? That will be better. Dilip, sorry. Today Vijay will guide. But what is the program further? It's 11:20, so up to what?
Yeah.
Up to 12?
Now, little time we're going to spend with
Okay.
Deepak
fine.
Anandji
Yes, yes.
for question and
I
answer.
have because doctors tell me that you don't sit much because of my back problem. So after 1 hour, you just loiter out, go and then come back. That is what he has told me. So I will do that, and in the meantime, our spiritual